Please carry on.
Mona, you need to unmute them.
We are live.
Hello, children, and good evening, everybody. In fact, I shouldn't be saying children, I should be saying young ladies and gentlemen. It is so nice to see each one of you on screen, though, but then it's giving such a lovely feeling because in all this time, I can say we are starved to look at the faces, the activities, the actions of our young children. This pandemic has really, I mean, I would say, crossed our routines, our schedules, but then we have to manage. But let me tell you, children, I'm so happy to see you all on screen, though, but then feeling great to even look at you this way. All right, when you all were to pass out from school, and I'm sure it must have called for huge celebrations with families, with friends, with peer groups, your hobbies, I'll do this, I'll do that. I'm sure these were the plans. And suddenly came 18th March in a lighter way, then 20th March, and finally 24th March. And this lockdown was announced. Forget about you all, even we had never heard of this word. And we didn't know what lockdown is. And it shook us that what is going to happen? We are going to stay inside the houses. My God, how am I going to manage? And the first thing I did that I had to get some medicines. I ran at around 10 p.m. midnight to get those medicines. So there were anxieties. There were all kinds of feelings which we were not very happy with, and we were curious. So students, why I called you here today is to understand from you that how did the youth feel? This program is called the Student Voices, and just eager to know that how did you all feel? Because for you, it is a different world. And at the age of 17, 18, you're full of energies, you're full of plans, eagerness, especially when you're passing out of the school, and just wanted to know that how had this time been for you? How did you react initially? How have you reacted and behaved and learned and grew upon all this time? I have wonderful children of Birla Vidya Niketan who are now the alumni, and welcome you all back to school, I would say. And trust me, you will all be very much welcome to school. I have Amir Jain. Amir has demonstrated creative excellence in all that she put her mind to. Amir was the president flair for writing and dramatics, and is an articulate speaker, a very creative person, and has written articles for Business Standard and a voiceover for NDTV Chupa Rustam. Her confidence, quiet dignity, and ability to take charge molds her into a leader among her peers. A warm welcome, Amia.
Thank you, ma'am. I think it's going to take some getting used to be on this side of an introduction, that too such a gracious one. I'm sorry.
Okay, our next participant is Sonia Sood. This ideal student and a committed social worker has a natural ability to be good at something, especially without being taught. An eloquent speaker and an adept debater, she's a versatile and multi-talented personality. Known for her leadership skills and sense of responsibility, she has been an integral part of the Students' Council as the head girl of the school, Welcome, Sanya.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's my pleasure to be here.
Lovely. We have Hemanya Baveja, who was the secretary of the Students' Council and who was also the president of the school's Interact Club. Hemanya is a superlative football player. This captain of the school football team has played under 16 Indian team in the Pacific School Games, Australia, under 17 Arsenal soccer school team in Northeaster Cup in Germany, and Mare Nostrum Cup in Spain, participated in Hero Elite League from Odisha FC and Hindustan FC. He also played Khelo India School Games under 16 from Delhi and bagged third position. Welcome, Hemanya.
Thank you, ma'am. It's so good to be here.
Okay, next we come to Akash Chabra. Interested in psychology and aviation, Akash is intrigued by aeroplanes. He's an achiever. He likes to educate himself on the topics of nutrition, fitness, and engineering science. He has won many prizes. He has a strong, confident personality, believes in setting definite goals and working towards them. And Akash is the science topper of Birla Vidyaniketan. Akash, a warm welcome to you.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. It's great to be here.
Okay, next we have Chaitanya Gulati. Chaitanya topped the team and is a KVPY and JSTSC scholar. This great swimmer was the class 10th topper too. An intellectual powerhouse is a perfect package of soaring ambition, brilliant ability, and extreme hard work. His simplicity is his greatest sophistication. As the school's science committee president, Chaitanya was always very participative and supported all. Welcome, Chaitanya.
Thank you, ma'am. My pleasure to be here.
Sona was again the science topper this year, and she was also the district topper in Aligarh district in the 10th standard. This ideal student is a goal-oriented and an intentionally focused girl, interested in quizzes and also in art. She's a disciplined person who lives by a set of principles and fine values.
Thank you, ma'am. It is good being here.
Gauri is the school topper, and this gentle student spreads happiness wherever she goes. Piqued by intellectually challenging experiences, Gauri is an intelligent, creative, and sensible person with a passion and zest for life. She has won many prizes in science, skit competitions, and various Olympiads, and of course, the Model United Nations conferences. Welcome, Gauri.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's an honor to be here.
Janvi Negi. Janvi is the school topper too, and she was from the humanities stream. She's a self-motivated, hardworking, and an ideal student. She exhibits exceptional focus and diligence in hard work, a patient listener, and an organized person, and a good social worker that I would add, which is not written, because she had been the scribe for the children from the blind school and helped them writing their exams. Welcome, Janvi.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's a pleasure being here.
Janvi, can we hear you?
Thank you, ma'am. It's a pleasure being here.
So nice to be with you today. Now, children, coming back straight to the point, I'm sure this time has created a lot of anxieties, even in your minds. And it would be very nice if just in 1.5 to 2 minutes, each one of you speaks your, I won't say every nitty-gritty of the journey, but major things about this journey, starting from 20th March 2020 till now, what you had been doing, what are your aims, how did you pass your time, what did you feel? So to begin with, let me focus at Chaitanya Gulati and request him to come up with his share of 1.5, 2 minutes time and tell us that what did he do. Chaitanya, over to you.
Yes, yes. For us, the lockdown wasn't that much of a, bothering because we were already prepared to stay at home for at least 1.5 months and prepare for our entrance exams and everything. So we were we did not have it planned for at least 1.5 months, all our outings and everything. So we were mentally prepared a lot better than those who were, waiting for their board exams to get over. But as the lockdown, gradually it went going on. So we realized that just studying for all of the day was actually counterproductive because the efficiency just loses off. So you get time to probably take better breaks, you get time to enjoy your breaks, and you get time to enhance your mindset in general as a person, as opposed to just academically enhancing your mindset. So we worked on that, and regular exercise becomes a part, which is a very good thing because there's so much time at home. So if you exercise, or if someone indulges in something such as cooking or any other hobby that they take up, that is just great. I mean, these are just all the positive aspects. Obviously there are some anxieties and fears associated with the lockdown, but we try our best to not keep our mind off them, as we can't control them, and we just try to put in our best work for the day.
Lovely. That's so nice that nice to hear that it didn't hit you that hard because you anyways were caught up for another 1.5 months or so. But yes, it is again very encouraging to know that you all followed a routine, did exercises, and pursued your hobbies to move on with the lockdown. All right, Gauri, could we hear something from you? You'll have to unmute yourself, Gauri.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I always related lockdown to the 12 counts of silence that Pablo Neruda mentioned in Keeping Quiet. How nature has confined us to our homes and forced us into introspection. So I decided to use this time to explore new areas of interest. I tried my hand at baking like everyone else also did, but my family and I came to the conclusion that I should refrain from doing that. Apart from that, I think for others, the lockdown might have started from the 22nd of March, but we're now in the 7th month of our lockdown due to boards and studying and everything. I'm also preparing for the law entrances right now. But like every other 12 pass out who enters into a phase of uncertainty after class 12, I had many questions. So I started reading Bhagavad Gita with my grandfather. But like now, after so many months of lockdown, when I retrospect, I think there is only gratitude for this journey because it has taught us to be patient and to appreciate the things that are happening around us. We're really blessed to be in the comfort spaces of our homes right now.
Wow, that's so nice. Introspection, Bhagavad Gita, baking. I mean, you've had a wonderful time, I would say, and not actually wonderful time, but time well utilized. Thank you so much for telling us about this. Akash, could I know something from you?
Yes, ma'am. So the day lockdown started, it was 2 days from my CS exams, and I was getting ready to be free from it and start preparing for my entrances. But as the lockdown began, it was more of a boon, as I had gotten 3 weeks extra to study for my JEE exam and really boost my preparation. But then, as the deadlines got extended further and further, the enthusiasm started to wane off slowly. As Chaitanya said, studying whole day usually becomes very counterproductive, as you get bored and just don't feel like doing it again. So there came a time where I didn't feel like doing anything at all. I just took 10 days off and did all my heart's desires, got rejuvenated, and then now I'm back to studying again. I do follow fixed routines, so I think it's a good utilization of time. I also spend my time learning new things, going to the terrace every day with my mom. We watch the planes go by. So it's a lot more fun now as it was than it was earlier, and I think it's going good now. Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. And you've adjusted and you understood that it's going to stay, and you took a 10 days break. Now, what does that 10 days break mean? Of course, a break in the lockup only.
Yeah, it was a break from studying, I'll say. I'd still
All right.
learn new things. I still exercise. I did all the things that I do usually, minus the studying. So
All right.
instead of that, I played some games and it was a lot better.
Lovely. That's so nice to hear. Uday, can we hear something from you?
Yes, good evening, ma'am. So,
Yes.
ma'am, my mom is a doctor, and at our house, in our family, we've been hearing about COVID much before the spike actually began in India. So, in a way, we were kind of relieved that there was a lockdown imposed because we knew that it would help curb the spread of the virus. And yes, it was a shock for all of us because we were all preparing for our final last board. We finally done from school and finally done with our boards, and that never happened. It got lingered on, it got postponed, and even I'm preparing for my law entrances. So we were prepared for being home and studying for a few more months, at least 2 months, and that got postponed. And so we're still not done with our entrances, and it's continuing. So yes, I'm also taking breaks at times, and it does, because as Chaitanya said, it is counterproductive to keep studying for so long, and you don't know when you're supposed to at least even give the exam. They might be in August, they might be in September, you don't know. So yes, I've learned a few new skills. I've started learning how to cook. I make some very good lasagna now and very good ravioli from scratch. And I'm also a plane enthusiast, so I take pictures of planes. So for me, as Himanyak, I'm sure can relate, as for a footballer, it calms him down when he goes to play. For me, it calms me down, and it's an outlet when I go plane spotting to the airport, which I haven't been able to do for months on end now, from I think January. So since the planes were fewer and there were more cargo aircrafts, and there were special aircraft that were coming in for repatriation flights that were flying over my house. So in a way, I was plane spotting from my house and taking some time out to edit my photos and post them on Instagram as well. So yes, I've learned new stuff, and I think I'm learning how to take each day as it comes, because we are living in very uncertain times, and we have to take each day as it comes because you can't make long-term plans right now.
Wonderful, wonderful. So each day you take as it comes, and I'm sure each day is better than the other one, than the previous
Yes,
one.
of course.
All right. Sona, let's hear something from you. Sona, you'll have to unmute your, yes.
Yes, ma'am. So on the 17th of March, our boards were over. But when the lockdown was announced, we were already preparing for our entrances. So it was not much of a difference for us because we had to like prepare for them for the next 1-2 months, which we had to stay home for. But when the entrances were postponed due to lockdown, it became quite uncertain as to when they will happen, when will all of this get over. So also when lockdown was imposed, we thought that it would last for only 15 days or a month or so. So things were quite good in the beginning, where you could do what you like what you enjoy to do in the spare time. But as time passed by, it like we lose interest, as everybody's mentioned till now. Like we lose interest gradually. So the and as it got extended for 4 to 5 months, this was a very different time. Like my routine also changed a lot. Regarding, like, earlier when we used to go to school, it would be a strict schedule. We were bound to a strict schedule, but now it was like all of it was affected. But I've tried to bring all of these things on the right pace, and to cope up with the things happening around me. I feel that whatever happened in these times, the family time that I spent, the quality time that I was able to spend with them, was the best part of it, because I was able to interact with them more. I was like able to sit with them, eat food with them, or talk to them more. It was like, because we were not able to um, um, sit with them for the past few months, like openly, and talk to them. Also, I was able to devote my time to hobbies like um, reading, painting, and doing other things like watching movies. I could even try cooking. So this was very good. positive aspects in these tough times. But I think that these times were tough for all, but these were important as well, as we were able to learn the small things that are around us, their importance, that we should respect them and be considerate towards them. I'm very grateful for this because now I have a wider outlook of how I see things after this lockdown.
Very nice. What I'm seeing is that, and I'm so proud of you all, you've turned these challenges into opportunities, each one of you, and that's how one should be. So coming to our next speaker, Sonia, let's hear something from you.
Thank you, ma'am. My lockdown journey began after my board exams had ended, thankfully. So I was not in as perplexed a state as other students were. But my lockdown journey for the other part has been much like the current global scenario. It's constantly developing, every day is a new one, and it's very ambiguous, right? But for me, what made such a puzzling situation better was having some constant in my life. And that for me was my family and friends. While most people try to stick to a fixed routine to try to latch on to some sense of structure which the pandemic took from all of us, I tried to be more mindful, and I personally took each day as it came. It was very rewarding because for privileged people like me who don't have to worry about making ends meet in a pandemic, this lockdown presented an unprecedented opportunity. The plethora of time I had, I utilized it by delving into old activities which I had lost along the way, like exercising daily and reading. I'm very lucky to have hobbies like reading, which the lockdown just gave me more time to enjoy. I don't have to go out of my house to enjoy a good novel. I picked up on a few new skills. I took up courses on Coursera and EDX. And if household chores were a language right now, I think all of us would be pretty fluent in it. But of course, like other 12th graders, I applied to colleges. I gave entrances, which was not really the plan for me. Had the pandemic not happened, I would have probably been trying to organize my visa for the UK. But this disruption of plans really taught me a very invaluable lesson. That nothing in life is permanent. Sometimes it doesn't go according to plans. We must have the ability to adapt to any dynamic situation, and that I have to make the very, very best of whatever is available to me. And for that, I think I will always be grateful.
Thank you so much, and God bless. Amir, let's hear something from you now. Yes.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
So I think the best thing that happened to me during the lockdown was actually related to school. So whenever I used to think about the idea of passing out or leaving school, I used to have these pangs of anxiety and nostalgia, I think, like everybody else. And then lockdown happened before we got much time to realize that. So I think within a month or 15 days of the lockdown being implemented, school was up and running online. And now I am an elder sister. So my sister is still in school. And there is some time in the morning between the classes starting and her shutting the door that I get the time to hear the voices of my teachers again.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I consider myself privileged that even though I'm not in school now, I still become truly awake with their voices. And I think this is one lucky thing that has happened to some of us, that we have had the advantage to have the habit of going to school slowly fade out. And I think now also coming out of a busy schedule of boards with school in the morning and tuitions in the evening, we had some more time to spend with our family like everybody else also had. And so we formed new practices and traditions of our own, which we also plan to carry into a post-COVID world. But looking at the more general things, I think for a couple of decades now, we've started indulging in pomp and show more than ever. And so along the way, I think everybody got so obsessed with perfection that natural errors in speech or technological glitches made us feel embarrassed. So I think even on a larger scale, if for a few seconds the power supply was cut because of obvious reasons of the load and mics went off, we used to feel ashamed. But now with everything online, this has become routine. So it has become an accepted fact that it could happen to anybody. And instead of judging by material things now, we have learned to empathize. So also talking about judging, I think if I had to pick out one point which we were really going wrong with in the 21st century, it would be our tendency to judge someone by their appearances. So I think now having nothing to look at but the face in the virtual interaction, the habit of focusing on the content has developed. So I think also needless to say, in the face of so much bad news, there were some sad days. And I think just 4 months back, we were kids, and now suddenly we were bombarded with all this disturbing information from everywhere. And I, for one, am nowhere close to accepting big losses or even knowing the skill of dealing with trauma. But I think we have still at least taken the step to knowing that such big bad things can happen to anybody, and it can also be us. Again, looking at the bright side, I think the virus has changed the way we celebrate, be it birthdays or anniversaries or any other event. We, I think, thought that we need a big group of people to be happy and to celebrate our happiness with. But now we have to pick and choose from within that group too. So I think we've finally now identified and distinguished the people who we need to stay positive and those who pull us down. And I think that even though the lockdown and the virus weren't the best things or even good things that could happen to us and mankind, maybe we'll be just fine.
Oh my God, I see each one of you really grown up in these 3-4 months. And is it because of leaving the school or the lockdown or naturally? But I'm so proud of you. Janvi, let's hear something from you now.
Thank you, ma'am. Talking about my lockdown journey, I would say it was full of confusion. So 2 days before my geography board exam, and CBSE announced that they would be postponing all the exams, and just a few days after that, the lockdown was announced. So I had almost 16, 17 days to study for geography, and I had studied day and night, and all of I wouldn't say it went down the drain, but there was no point to studying so hard if they had to postpone the exams. So even before the first lockdown was lifted, I was still kind of studying. I had completed my syllabus just to be on a safer side. Then CBSE announced dates and all, and Gayatri ma'am even started with her online classes to clear our doubts. So we were all very prepared just in case CBSE decides to conduct the exams. But unfortunately, or maybe fortunately for some people, that did not happen. So half the time in my lockdown went contemplating whether to study, whether to wait for announcement. And I think that confusion is still pretty much there, even though we are done with CBSE and the results and everything. But my preference is DU, and DU has been extending its application procedure and all, and it has not given us any dates about the cutoffs. So I think that confusion is still there, and it probably would be there for some time because it's very difficult to come to a conclusion right now in the middle of a pandemic. So other than that, I think one very important thing that this lockdown has taught us, and it would be the awareness of our privilege. So as I think someone just said, that we are all very, very privileged to have a roof over our head, to have money to pay our bills, to have food to fill our bellies. But when we look at others, the condition that people are living in is just very sad, and that disparity, it really gets to you. And especially in times like these, you realize how granted you took things, and we should just stop and appreciate things a little more, I guess, in life.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's so nice to hear that way. And coming to now individual questions, Hemanya, I know that you are a boy extremely fond of playing football, and I've seen you in school always ready, and whether we called you at 5 a.m. in the morning or 9 p.m. at night, you were always there. And games were something, fields were something that really attracted you naturally. Now, you were stuck into your house, I'm sure. And tell me, were there any moments of feeling sad or low?
When the lockdown was announced, our BST exam was there. So the BST exam got cancelled. So for a sports person, an exam getting cancelled, that's the best thing that can happen. So in the starting, I was very happy. But later, a month passed by without football. It was very difficult for us because we footballers, we sports person are very disciplined. We like to have a proper sleeping schedule, getting up in the morning, exercising. But because of no football, we were sleeping at 2 a.m. night and getting up at 2 p.m. So we do not like that kind of lifestyle. And obviously, we had uh, sad moments because for us, the only and the biggest way of catharsis is just to play, to get on the field and, take out all the bad emotions, the good emotions, and channelize it in the correct way. But now we do not have the appropriate way to channelize it. So yes, I was sad at moments, but now as the coronavirus is coming to an end, like slowly and slowly, it's reducing. So we've started to go back to the ground, and started to playing. So we're coming back in schedule, and we've started to like this lifestyle also. Yes, it was a challenge for us, but yeah, we were able to do it.
All right, that's so nice to hear it. Chaitanya, I would like you to answer my next question. Since you are preparing for entrances and your preparation doesn't seem to be ending, and earlier, if you were actually going to physically going to attend some classes, now I'm sure they are all online. And if they are not so rigorous, but they are still happening. Tell me, what is your opinion about online classes? Are they good? Does anything, do you all understand? Are you able to connect with your teacher? Things like those.
Uh, I think compared to offline classes, that is, offline classes are better by far, far better standard. They're far better for a student and for the teacher as well. But considering the situation of the pandemic and following the idea of making the best of what we have, online classes are a very good resource for those students to keep just maintain a regular rhythm of studying. They add a certain regularity to life, and they just sort of program your learning so you can plan around those classes, you can revise what was taught, you can practice what was taught. So in those aspects, online classes are extremely good. But in a post-COVID or in a non-COVID world, offline classes would be the norm, and offline classes are much better. The teacher-student interaction as well as the student-student interaction is far greater as compared to online classes. For example, even if one may argue that the teacher-student interaction remains conserved to a certain level, the student-student interaction in an online class is reduced to bare minimum, or rather there is no student interaction, which is very important. I feel for a class, even cracking jokes in a class lets you be a part of the class environment. A class isn't just about studying, it's about studying and enjoying what you study. It's about enjoying what's being done. So that's it.
Lovely. That's beautiful, that cracking jokes in classroom and even eating each other's tiffin is very important and adds so much of value. Akash, I'm told that you are interested in psychology. And now you tell me, did this lockdown affect your mental health at any point of time?
Yes, ma'am. As one stays inside the house for a long time, slowly,
Hmm.
slowly you start getting really bored and fed up of just being in one place altogether. So in my case, what I started doing was I went out to the terrace, or we go for a weekly drive every week now. And that really helps a person go to a new surrounding. It leads to a change of your mental state and helps a person rejuvenate. Because if you just stay in one place, first of all, it's very easy to focus on the negative aspect of the situation because you're thinking that I'm stuck here, don't know how long. And that does affect you over time. So yeah, I think it does.
All right. Sanya, taking this question forward, I'm sure you had such a busy schedule in school, helping teachers, welcoming guests, speaking, participating into various activities. And of course, then there were board exams, but there was still a light at the other end, sunshine at the other end, that exams will get over and then I will do this. It could be as we are, maybe go shopping, maybe watching a movie. And so all that you could not do, though you said that you do watch films at home, but it's different an experience. So you tell me what I asked Akash, that did this affect your mental health at any point of time? You felt low, sad, and kind of, oh God, where have I come?
Definitely, ma'am. I think anybody would be, not being very honest and transparent if we said that we weren't feeling slightly let down by what had happened. Obviously, it was beyond our control, but it's normal to feel that sadness. And I had been a student of psychology, and both Amrita ma'am, Pallavi ma'am have taught me very, very valuable methods to learn how to cope with a low mood. I was an intern at Fortis at the Department of Mental Health and Behavioral Sciences last year. And I was a peer educator at school. So, talking about mental health is something that we did on the regular as humanities students. So I think while we may have been sort of informed that, okay, these are some tricks you can employ, these are certain distractions you can use, not everybody had that. And I think people have been impacted in varying degrees by this pandemic. Even though our normal was not all that great, yes, there were some problems associated with it, but we all still craved for something that would remind us of the old times. So my mental health got impacted, but what I did for that, as you said, I watched films, I read books, I spoke to my friends, and I found that when we are vulnerable with each other, when I opened up to a friend or to my parents saying, hey, I don't feel so good and I'm worried about my future, I'm worried about my family's health, they echoed that same concern. And I think that's what builds connections, and that's what keeps all of us going.
Lovely. So nice to hear that. Janvi, you said that you got involved into household chores, helping other people at home. So has this changed your perspective, that in perspective in life, that these are also important things, be it be making a cup of tea in the morning, or making your own bed, cleaning your house, cleaning utensils, cooking. So how has your mindset changed because of this?
Absolutely, ma'am. I do believe that these are very important things. Talking about my family in particular, my parents are working, both of them. So before the lockdown, the routine we followed was very monotonous. I was busy studying, they were busy with their office work. They used to come back home, eat dinner, go back to sleep, and that routine continued. But ever since the lockdown was announced, we have been doing a lot of things together as a family. We have been eating lunch, dinner, and everything together, doing household chores together, and it has definitely helped in a very important bonding experience. We are talking a lot now, because earlier we were all busy with our lives and everything. So now we are a lot more connected, a lot more. We have bonded a lot more over these little small things, that is just doing chores and everything. So it's definitely a very nice bonding experience.
Wonderful. That's a beautiful thing to know, that the bonding in families has increased. Gauri, could you tell me what were your coping skills?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, so for me, a plan of action, to have a plan, to have a schedule for the day, what I'm going to do, even if I'm not studying, to plan out things just helped me a lot. Plus, we've always been very open to listen to what people have to say. But we are rather harsh on ourselves. We are very self-critical at times. So I think lockdown has taught me to give myself the pep talk. Like I also need to listen to the good things about myself. So I think I am not now dependent on someone else to validate what I do. That is what lockdown has taught me. So I think we have the time to heal the things, the places we are lacking in. So I mean, it is a great time. It is a great opportunity to use this time to discover ourselves better.
That's wonderful. And me time and listening to myself, pampering yourself, myself, they're such wonderful things. You don't have to depend upon others. My God, you're all giving me lessons. I'm so glad that we organized this session. Sona, the next question goes to you. Do you follow a schedule in your daily routine? Do you follow a schedule?
Yes, ma'am. I think that even if you want to waste time in a day or do nothing, then also you need a plan. Like whatever you need to do. If I have to watch movies, then even I need to plan that. So a schedule is very much important for each and everything. I am specifically preparing for entrances. So I have to study also equally. Like, so there is a schedule. Like I have started like waking up early now, trying to exercise a bit, and then doing like studying for some time, then taking breaks, doing what I like. Like I like drawing, so I sketch something on a regular basis if I feel like, and then reading, and then I plan out my day. Like if I have to help my mother, so I help her. So there is a schedule which needs to be followed, and which is very important in these times. Because if you don't have a plan, then you are not doing anything in the entire day. You are just sitting idle or wasting time, I may say. Like it is important.
All right. Wonderful. Amya, the question now goes to you is, um, are you on social media in a big way to pass your time?
No, ma'am. I, for one, am not on social media in a big way. But I think a lot of people who are, things have changed for them. And I think if I have to talk about that, it would be that social media now, I think, is a reflection of the real world. And so what has happened is earlier we used to post pictures of places we visited or things we were proud of. It was usually grandeur and splendor that we used to show off. Now, even if not showing off, that was usually the things we saw. Now, I think we have come to accepting our surroundings the way they are. So people are also clicking pictures in their homes. They are clicking pictures of their food they eat daily. So regular things are now also becoming media-like. And I think with the credit also goes to some social media personalities who have also accepted and who they are, and they've opened their homes to the digital media, the digital world outside. So now we actually are okay with the idea of portraying who we are in real life, and we have also accepted how other people are.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful to actually come back to terms and accept them and don't feel bad about them. It's very important for us because it reduces the baggage which is there on our heads all the time that I have to show off. Wonderful observation. Uday, my question to you is that you said your mother is a doctor, and I'm sure she was going to the hospital or her clinic every day. How comfortable were you every time? Because the news said all kind of things that the doctors are getting infected, and so how comfortable were you each day when you saw her going to hospital? And I think
Yes,
Chaitanya
ma'am.
also went through the same phases. Yes, Uday.
Yes, ma'am. So actually, yes, there was anxiety and the whole fear. I think in all our family, even my dad and my grandparents, because my mom was going for work, and even though she was taking precautions, she was wearing two masks, she was wearing a face shield and a PPE suit as well to work. And even though she was doing that, there was some fear as to, because yes, the media was portraying it as such. So yes, she was the one that actually calmed us down, saying that it's actually okay, because she doesn't thankfully work with COVID patients. She is a radiologist, so she's not working with COVID patients. But still, yes, there is that thought in the mind, because like today, she usually comes back by 2 these days. Today she came back by 3. So there's that thought that why is she late? And that fear just sometimes just ignites. Yes, we are getting comfortable with it. We are now accepting it that yes, she has to go to work. My dad was trying to actually insist that she doesn't go to work, but yes, it's her duty also, and she likes working also. So she wants to go to work. She wants to help people, especially at that time. And I think even as a doctor, because she did have a few connections that people with non medical families don't. I was personally also able to help lots of people get through COVID, like maybe help someone get an injection or get a plasma donor through my mother. So I think that was a plus point also. But yes, there was anxiety and there was fear. It still is slightly less, but in the beginning, yes, it was pretty intense.
Yes. And definitely doctors, nurses, paramedics, and the social workers, the people who were cleaning the city, all these people were so important, and we should be so much grateful to them. And I can imagine the kind of anxiety their families had when they were out to work. And not to forget the defense personnel, because whenever they are out on duty, be it be China border or Pakistan border or wherever, I'm sure their children also the families also undergo the same kind of feelings. But then, yes, it's duty, very
Yes,
easy
ma'am.
for us to say, but then, yes, they are doing a phenomenal task. Okay, now coming back to the next
Absolutely.
phase, I have a surprise for all of you. And I've got requested rather one teacher who had taught you. And I'm sure you'll be happy to interact with that one teacher. Of course, I couldn't bring the entire group of all of us here, but one teacher. So for the science students, so we'll come back to, oh, there Aloka ma'am is. Children here, they would like to talk to you for a while, so maybe you can put them, it's their turn now to answer our questions. So
Yeah.
put one question for all of them and let's see how they answer.
Okay. Firstly, all of us out here, as ma'am said, and all the teachers even who are not here in this forum, we truly miss you. That's a very honest and a very genuine assertion we are really making, because when we were together, we may have had our shares of likes and dislikes off and on. But there's a saying that distance makes the heart fonder. So that has happened. And congratulations to all those excellent scores that you have brought for yourself and for the school. It was a great moment for us because we too had our own share as to what we are heading for. We have never experienced this kind of a system in our entire education system so far. So basically, I'll be asking a question which may have been a little earlier addressed to the science students, but now I think all of you can have an answer to that. And first, I am going to put this question, keeping in mind all those wonderful answers that I got from all of you, which gave me one conclusion, that pandemic has brought the larger matured you suddenly out in the open. I mean, there must have been this matured you inside you all the time, but had this pandemic not come impromptu, your maturity quotient would not have risen so high. Am I correct, students? Am I correct when I make this sentence? So it's something like a saltatory thing. You jumped into maturity. Otherwise, you would have grown slowly. So addressing that maturity of yours, I'd like to put one question. And that is, of course, my love is biology, so I put everything around biology. All of you have studied geography, and you rightly said the geography paper went haywire and that became a cause of anxiety. So if you look into the globe, if you really look into the globe, you will find that in the globe, from North Pole, if you move down to South Pole, you will find the two extremes, that is the North and the South, are zones where life does not thrive. North, it still thrives a bit because of the inclination of the Earth, but South Pole, that is a zone of literally no life. In fact, that's a zone of mystery. Where you have the real vibration of life is the torrid zone, or what you call the zone where equator goes. The maximum form of life that you see is in between. So when you were in the school, you had lots of ambitions. We have, even now we have, you have, everybody has. How will you say that ambition should not be over-realized? Otherwise, you are likely to move either to the North Pole or to the South Pole and miss out on the real zone where life thrives and pulsates with all its beauty and all its vibrations. Would you like to say that I feel a little less ambitious and more realistic? Or would you say, let this COVID go away, I'll return back to what I was? So what is your thinking? I think I'll start with the student I taught. I mean, I've been after him. I'll tell you one secret, you know, Chaitanya may not like this, but every day in my class, I was pulling out the pen from Chaitanya's mouth because the cap will be in his hand and the pen back would be inside his mouth. And I would say one day, when you swallow that pen in my class, you and I will be in trouble together. Chaitanya, do you remember that day? Okay, now you tell me. If you were to make a balance between your great ambition and leading a life where you find meaning, like you've found meaning now, a completeness, a holistic approach, your family, your hobbies, your likings, your dislikings, your loving yourself, and a big staircase at the end of which there is achievement. After the pandemic, what is your choice?
I think that a successful life is always lived in the quest or in the ambition for the, the idealistic state. You enjoy the ambition, you enjoy the journey, you enjoy the aspiration, you enjoy the ups and downs that come. And it's not that the result does not matter, but that there are higher chances or that the result just follows once you enjoy the journey and take things for what they are. So I've always believed that one should, focus on a balanced life, that there should not be too much of anything because that causes a person to go lopsided and people burn out. However, if you take out the time to do the things you love and you enjoy what you do, as long as you enjoy what you do, as long as you enjoy the very aspiration of being something great, I think you're moving closer to that every day. So
that's wonderful. Aloka, he has outwitted you.
Yes,
wonderful answer. Wonderful answer.
And I'm so proud of that.
2 more answers because we are running short of time. 2 more people can answer.
So basically, Chaitanya, you actually have said enjoy the journey. That's what you said, right?
Yes.
Not the destination. Very nice. Wonderful.
And a balance is very important.
Yes, a balance is.
Yes.
So somebody who I haven't taught, you can answer. Sanya, I haven't taught, I have known all of you, but not taught in the classroom. What is your opinion? Okay, let me go to Harmanya. Harmanya, I remember I had said no to you because you wanted to leave school early for the sports. So that must have been a very disappointing time to you. Now today you realize that home also and work also and your games have to be brought into a fitting in objects of puzzle. What is your opinion that life thrives best in the in-between zone?
It does. If you ask me, ma'am, there are big ambitions and small ambitions. If you work harder for the big ambitions and you strive a balance, if you have a balance between your ambition and your hard work, you'll get to it. You have to have that balance. Like you said, you have to, like Chaitanya said, you have to enjoy the journey. But if there is not a balance between your hard work and your ambitions, then you will be drifting either to the North Pole or to the South Pole.
Wonderful.
So according to me, you should work hard according to your ambitions and you'll get through it. And most of all, you should enjoy the journey.
Excellent.
Very good. So proud of their answers, each one of them. Aloka ma'am, could we switch over to the next teacher now? I'm really running short of time. Lovely. So our next surprise is Vandana ma'am. Vandana ma'am, could we see you please? So she has taught economics to whoever studied economics, and she was always there conducting your exams and other things. So Vandana ma'am, could you unmute yourself and turn on your video?
Everyone, please switch on my video. The host has to start the video, ma'am.
All right. And Vandana, we would request you to ask one question, and they'll give the answer in 30 seconds.
Yeah. 5 years down the line, when everything is normal, what is one single learning that you will always remember from this COVID experience? One single most important learning. Uday, what will be yours?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I think for me, it's going to be gratitude, and it's going to be not taking things for granted. Because even a small thing like hanging out with our friends or going out to a restaurant, which we did take for granted, and we would even frown upon not going to a nice restaurant, now sometimes seems like a luxury. Because I I think it's been months on end since we've gone to a restaurant, eaten, and even before that, even before the lockdown, we had a board, so we weren't going out anyway. So I think just being thankful and being grateful for what we have and what we will have, hopefully 5 years down the line, and hopefully when things get back to normal. I think it's the gratitude and the learning that we did take from this time, and just thinking about how when we were not able to do things and not able to enjoy ourselves to what we think we wanted to do, and even just hanging out with our friends and the friendship that we did have before COVID, and just hanging out with everybody, I think that is something which really will be something different and obviously helps to grow us.
What a mature answer. What a mature answer. Very
Yeah,
nice.
what is your viewpoint?
Another question, Vandana?
Yeah. And what about the physical fitness? None of you spoke about the physical fitness. What did you do to remain fit?
No, they did say that Akash said that he did a lot of exercises, and others also said that they were.
Sanya, did you follow any strict regime to remain fit?
Good evening, ma'am. It's so nice to hear your voice after so many months. I personally, in terms of exercise, because sometimes I tend to be a bit of a lazy bum, I tried to do something which I genuinely wanted to do, not any machine or equipment heavy exercise. I just danced. I played on some music and I danced. And for me, that was not only a way of, exercising and keeping my physical self fit, but it was also a thing that I did to keep myself mentally very happy. And apart from that, my parents and I go on a walk every day, and it's just given me so much extra time with my parents. So I've really started enjoying that, and I plan on continuing that even after the pandemic ends.
Lovely, wonderful. So I can see Sumana ma'am also here. And Sumana ma'am, just since you had always been involved into the social services, the social work side of the school, and I'm glad children did talk of gratitude and empathy and giving. So a question from you.
Thank you, ma'am. Let me begin by saying that I am indeed extremely happy today to hear these young ladies and gentlemen speaking, and I feel so contented. Maybe because I feel that education has done its deed and has achieved its goal. So in that perspective, I would like to ask Hemanya, Amir, and the others who were involved with social work, now that you have completed one leg of the journey of your education, do you think it has equipped you to face the modern day challenges? Yes, Hemanya. You were the president of the Interact Club. Did working in the Interact Club help you in some way to combat the challenges today? Do you think that is required in the education system?
Yes, ma'am, it is really much required, ma'am. Like, we see people walking on the streets, ma'am, bare feet, 50 kgs on their head, and this so much heat. Ma'am, it really affects us. The people who haven't done the social work, who haven't gone to the NGOs, they don't know how it feels. You've taken us to all these good NGOs in around Delhi. And now, ma'am, one message I would like to give to everyone is that, ma'am, you should take care of your helpers, like the ones the ones that they are at home. Like, charity begins at home. You should really take care of them, like give them appropriate salaries and maybe a little more in these times. And yes, what we cannot go on the streets and do the on ground work, but yes, we can help at our levels in our homes. So that's what we are doing to combat it. And yes, social work is very much important in these times.
Lovely,
So
lovely. Amir,
education.
ma'am wanted you also to answer.
Yes, Amir.
Unmute yourself, Amir.
So, ma'am, yes, I think social work, being engaged with social work, it made us realize, it made us more mindful, I think, because my mom is a counselor and she always talks about mindful parenting. Now, I think mindfulness can also be applied to our situations. No matter where we are from or how we look at people, I think when you're engaged with a plethora of people with different kinds of backgrounds and with different things that they have to bring to the table and they offer, it's basically you realize their value. And I think, again, the same thing that Himanya said, that charity begins at home. And even if we're not able to go out of the confines of our houses and we're not able to call them to our places, I think we can take care of their basic amenities and how they're taking care of themselves. I think that responsibility falls on us, and it is our duty to look after that.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. Shumana ma'am, I'm sure you must be so happy to get this answer from each
I
one.
am very happy, very happy.
Yes.
Ma'am.
Okay, so as we now come to the end of the session, I'll request each one of you to just take maybe 30 seconds or 20 seconds to tell us that where do you see yourself post-COVID and maybe 2 years from now. Yes, Akash, your turn first.
Yes, ma'am. So I hope to get done with my entrance exams as soon as possible. And after that, I'd like to take a month-long vacation after this 2.5 years ordeal. And after that, I hope to go off to college, start my new journey there, and then move on to the future frontier.
Lovely. May God bless you. Gauri.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, right now the hope is to clear the entrance exams and get into a hopefully good law college. But before ending, the thing that the tops my list of excitement right now is meeting my friends. And I would also like to mention it is Amir's birthday on the 2nd of August.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So I'm really
Happy
excited
birthday, wishing you. Yes. So, but no such plans of meeting together on Amya's birthday. Can't. All right. So, Janvi, tell me, where do you see yourself 2 years from now and, of course, post-COVID?
So, ma'am, I'm planning to pursue BA Honors Political Science from Delhi University. So, my preference is Lady Shriram. So, I think I would be very happy if I see myself a part of Lady Shriram after 2 years.
Very good. God bless you. And we'll all pray that your wish is accomplished. Chaitanya.
2 years down the line, I just see myself enjoying a medical college and the medical journey, and just wishing that we all retain the empathy and the kindness that we have gained from this experience.
Lovely. That's beautiful. And we all pray that you achieve your goal, aspiration, and you get into the finest college and you become the finest doctor, and may you treat us one day.
Ma'am, may the need not arise to treat you all.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's
Thank you.
wonderful. Sonia Sood.
So I aspire to study politics and economics. And this, as this pandemic has shown, currently our system has some flaws. So I plan to study very hard and make some improvements and do my bit to help people. Because for me, imagining a future just for myself feels inherently very selfish, and I don't want that. But yes, the one thing I would like to do for myself is that in 12th grade, because of studying and so many other things, I said no to a lot of plans with my friends and my family. So the minute that we are in the post-COVID world, I'm not going to decline any invitation, and I'm also going to take the time away from studies to enjoy myself completely.
Wonderful. And before I proceed to the others, I would request Amrita ma'am to quickly, from her psychological point of view, ask something from these children or give them a tip or make them ponder over.
Thank you, ma'am. I am so happy to see their changed personalities. They have developed so well in their, I feel that the grooming has been perfect, it seems, and they have developed in this period also. So my question to all of them, one aspect of your personality which you have picked up during this time, which you feel you have developed, like, okay, this was the thing which I did not notice, and now I have, introspected and found out. Most of you told that, like Gauri mentioned, that she was introspecting, looking within. So one aspect of your personality which you felt you have developed in this or recognized in this, I would like. Anyone?
Unmute yourself quickly, and whoever is ready with the answer.
Gauri, can we have the answer?
And come up.
Okay. Ma'am, so I think one place I was lagging in was maintaining healthy boundaries with the people around me and maybe my friends in some places. So I think I'm really working on that right now, to listen to people, to be more open to sharing what I feel about things and what they feel about things. So that is what I'm going to carry from here.
Very nice. Very nice. And I'm sure others also must have developed some or the other aspect, and you have actually noticed that aspect. It was already there within you, but you must have not noticed earlier because you never paid attention to it. So all the best to all of you.
Yes. So Himanya, I come to you with the, from where I left, that tell us, where do you want to see yourself 2 years and post-COVID from now?
Future plans, all I intend on is making an impact in the field of sports and creating awareness around it in the country, and hopefully playing football with a crowd.
Lovely. God bless. Sona?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I hope that the entrance I'm going to give, I clear well, score good, and I be in an engineering college after 2 years, which I hope to be. But I see myself as a better person now, stepping into the future 2 years later, much more aware and much more responsible, I guess.
Yes. May God bless you, and you go to the best of the colleges.
Thank
Uday,
you.
what about you?
Ma'am, I'm currently giving my law entrances, so I hope to go to good law school and hopefully after that work as an aviation lawyer, maybe in an airline or an aviation law firm. But I think one thing, answering Amrita ma'am's question also, I think I've developed the whole trait of being helpful to others. As Himanya also said, charity begins at home. I'm helping other people, so I hope to continue that many years down the line.
Wonderful. And if all of us start thinking like this, I'm sure Earth would be a better place to live. And Amya, you are the last one to answer my question.
Ma'am, I'm the last one, and a lot of BVNites who are still in school are watching this. I think I am blinded by all the memories. So I would like to see myself attending the BOSA with all our teachers and all our batchmates again, not virtually, hopefully, in the physical form, because I was speaking to my class teacher, who was our class teacher in 11th and 12th, and she also said that I miss you guys and we hope that we meet soon. So I think that is what I want to see in the future. I hope we stay rooted and we come back to school successful.
Thank you. God bless you. And Janvi, she wasn't the last one. You are the last one. And I'm so glad that somebody in this group corrected me for this. Thank you. Yes, tell me.
Ma'am, I just said that I am planning to pursue BA Honors Political Science from Delhi University, preferably Lady Shri Ram. So 2 years down the line, I would love to see myself as a student of Lady Shri Ram.
Yes, and political science is a vast subject and a beautiful subject. So children, thank you so much. Teachers, thank you so much for coming online and spending your time. And children, students, it was pleasure to meet you all, talk to all of you and understand. And I think I'm so happy to note that each one of you has grown up so well and have matured beautifully. Your ideas, your thought process is just wonderful. And all the others from your batch who are watching this program, and to you from Birla Vidya Niketan, we wish you all the very best in all your future endeavors. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.